Szeth, Sun Belano, truthless of Shinobar, wore white on the day he was to kill a king.
Okay, so since what we do here on Cosmere Talk is talk about our thoughts at the beginning, middle, and end of the things that we read, so that those of us who have read them already can comment cryptic things like Journey Before Destination and The Honor is Dead, and also There's Always Another Secret and Raffo and whatever, I figured I'd go ahead and tell you my thoughts right at the beginning. So I just started chapter 2. I'm already in love with Kaladin. Already in love with him, so let's see how badly that burns me. It never ends well for me. But I am excited. I'm glad I read Mistborn first. I had originally picked up Way of Kings back when I wanted to start reading the Cosmere, but it felt pretty dense for me as someone who was not acquainted at all with Sanderson's writing. So going back and reading Mistborn and everything, I know what signs to look for. I know how he builds a world, and I'm having a lot of fun being able to actually kind of understand what's going on. So let's see how it goes. 2. I'm already in love with Kaladin. When were y'all going to tell me that he's 19? Never mind. Characters that I've met in The Way of Kings so far as of page 191. Dalinar? Hot. Adolin, major player, it sounds like. Daddy's boy, major player. His brother, Renarin, probably gonna die, I think. And probably soon. Shallan, I don't trust her. And I don't think I like her. I like her, but I don't trust her. And then maybe, I don't know. It's complicated. Yasna, I love Yasna. I relate to Yasna a lot. I don't know what that says about me. I guess we'll find out. Kaladin, you got it, buddy. Keep going. Syl, I love her. I want to keep hearing about Szeth. Shallan's brother is weird as hell. Hope he's okay, I guess. So there's that. Okay, I just finished part 2 of The Way of Kings, and I'm going to spend some time here talking about my theories, my thoughts, and everything, because I know that's everyone's favorite part, is for all of us to share these moments with each other. My first thought is that the more that I read, the more that I feel like the Parshendi had nothing to do with the king's assassination. So I don't know if I've met the person who did have something to do with it, but I just have a feeling that they don't have anything to do with it at all. And that there's a part of a greater plot in some way by somebody, probably particularly closer to the king. I love Dalinar. I love him. And I love him because of the man that he is right now. I know I'm getting all these cryptic comments about how, like, I might change my mind later, or a lot of people, you know, he's actually not that good of a guy, whatever. I don't care. The guy that he is right now, I love him. I love his sense of duty. I love his, like, I swooned when he talked about how he was, like, thinking about how the rug in his place was too new, and all of this, like, frilly, almost, like, all these decorations that mean nothing. Like, if it would do any good, he would get rid of them because he doesn't see any value in them. And that's, like, oh, that's how I like my men. So I really like him a lot. And yeah, I don't care if he's ugly. He's not to me, babe. He's not to me. A war-weary veteran. Oh, anyway. So I have a bad feeling about the church. And when I say that, I mean, like, I guess it's Vorin society in general. That's the religion, right? Is Vorinism? Because they're a Lethi. So the religion is Vorinism, I guess. I have a bad feeling about it, and specifically because knowing what I know from Mistborn Era 2, and how, like, when you read Era 1, you know all these people. When you go to Era 2, you're listening to myths and rumors about these people because they're religious figures now. And you know that that's not how they were, or you know that's not how that story took place, or whatever. But the people don't, because that's what happens over time. And I'm going to make a whole long video about this on my YouTube probably, about how the mirroring between that and like modern day religion in like the Western world, because what it says about that, the examination that whatever. Anyway, so the way that they're responding to Dalinar's visions during the high storms tells me that at some point down the line, maybe not right now, but at some point down the line, there was an intentional severing or a perception, like a perceived severing of a connection with the Almighty or whatever. And maybe it's not the Almighty that's talking to him. Maybe it's something more nefarious, or maybe the Almighty is nefarious. I don't know. I don't think so, though, as of right now. I do think they're real. I think they serve a very large purpose in his greater story. So those are some of my favorite parts, are when he's in those moments. But I hate what it's doing to him and to his family, as far as how everyone else is thinking about him and them. That is really frustrated me. But that's the society at the moment. That's what that means. Another moment I really loved in part 2, I love Rock, I love Teft, like I love Kaladin kind of stepping up, and Syl becoming more cognizant and of like her, I guess you can't say personhood, but kind of. I really can't wait to learn more about her and what that means about Windspren, or if there's something in particular about her, if she's like a person from the past in some way that has come back as a Windspren or whatever. Like I really like Syl, and I'm very excited to keep learning about her a lot. And I like her struggle with like human concepts and how she's starting to understand it and how it's scaring her, that she knows what death is and that she knows what a lie is. Yeah, it is scary. Like, to learn the truth about the hearts of men and the fact of humanity, like that, yeah, mortality, that's very scary. So I really like that moment that's happening here. I also was very struck and excited by what just happened, which is when Yasna and Dalinar are writing back and forth, and Yasna says, like, this image was in one of my books talking about the Voidbringers. Do you recognize it? And it was a picture of a chasm fiend that Shallan drew for her. What does that mean? That's so exciting to me. That's like probably, I don't know, it might not be inconsequential, but what that raises questions for me about is like, okay, so what are the gem hearts actually? Is it going to come down to like the gem hearts are actually like explosives or something, or not explosives, but you know what I mean? Like, is there some kind of dangerous property to these gem hearts? Like, are they opening themselves up to danger from within, or just in general, like these chasm fiends, like I don't know, man. I'm very excited to keep reading, because maybe the chasm fiends, like once they pupate, like, do we know what they look like when they come out of their little things? Do we know what they turn into? Because they seem to kill them every time they do it. So what happens when they do? If you were to just leave it alone, like, does it get really scary? Oh, there's a wasp outside of my car. Anyway. Yeah, I liked part 2 more than part 1, although I'm excited to get back to Yasna and Shallan. But yeah, I'm digging it a lot. I see what people mean when they say that this is like set up for the rest of the series in some way, or that it does feel like a lot of exposition for sure, but I'm still liking it. I'm still excited about it. But it does definitely feel like it is building up, and every Sanderson book feels like it's building up to the end of the book, but this feels like it's setting up a lot of things that's going to take place in the next 4 books. I didn't realize, by the way, that Wind and Truth was the end of this era, and that the next 5 books are going to be a second Stormlight era. So how exciting that I'm starting this when all the books are out. That's awesome. I'm sorry to all of you who had to wait, but I don't have to. Oh, anyway, this is exciting. I love it. I'm going to keep reading, obviously. I am starting to love these characters more and more, which is making me feel better about not being on Scadrial anymore. But as you know, if you follow me or have watched any of my content, you know that I love my people on Scadrial. And I've already seen one of them, and I'll probably see more. Oh, that brings me to another point. I love Wit. I love Wit, and I knew exactly who Wit was pretty early on because some of his insults sound very similar to a certain drifter in the Secret History. So I love Wit. I'm excited to learn more about Wit. And I understand there's still more characters I have to read or to meet. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about all of it. I can't think of a better word. Like, this definitely feels like I'm about to embark on a huge journey. And thank you guys so much for like watching and kind of being excited with me that I'm reading it. So let me know what you think. Remember, I'm only to part 2, so please no spoilers, because my favorite thing about this fandom is that for the most part, we're really good about not giving spoilers to each other. We try. So please let me experience as much of it myself as I can. Okay? Thank you. Also, sorry, I forgot about this part. Dalinar catching the chasm fiend claw. Yeah. That did it for me. Okay, everyone told me to react to chapter 47, which I've done. I recorded it. It'll be coming soon when I do the rest of my blind reactions. But chapter 48, first of all, I knew it. I never trusted that skeevy ass, desperate ass, ardent bitch, okay? I knew he was a snake in the grass, whether or not he did what he did because he loved her. This isn't Romeo and Juliet, asshole, okay? I thought it was like much deeper. I thought it was much more sinister, and maybe it's not. Maybe it is. Maybe I am still right, but... and Yasna knew, by the way. Yasna called it. Plus, now Yasna knows about the Soulcaster. But when she was like, you wanted to show up and what? Say sorry I drove you to suicide? Gagged. I was gagged. Chapter 47 was insane. But somehow, not surprising. I was like, yeah, of course Kaladin did that. Are we surprised? However, also, I think he's a big old stupid idiot. I understand his reasons for not taking the blade, but what a dumbass. Anyway, 48, I made a video about that already. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I was right. Kind of, maybe. More information is coming. Now I'm on chapter 49. I'm going to start just recording as things happen, like I did in my reaction to the Warbreaker Sanderlanche. So, you'll see me in a second. Taft trying so hard to, like, ask Cal these questions without, like, saying what he's thinking. I'm enjoying this, but also I'm kind of like, out with it, man. Okay, just finished chapter 49. The training has begun. Moash is excelling. Not surprising. Taft used to be a soldier. Great. I'm glad we got that info about him. I still don't know what the Envisagers are, but I'm excited to learn about them. I have my theories. Of course, I have my theories. But now we are back to Shallan and Yasna. So... Okay, before I start chapter 51, I just want to say this, because I never, formally gave my thoughts on Cubsal before I made that last video. I only gave them to a couple friends, so this is what I thought about him. I was convinced that he was working for Shallan's missing older brother, or some kind of, because I think that he might be, I think he's a part of this somehow, but I'm assuming that Cubsal is involved with that group that has just picked up Zeth to come and, assassinate all the high princes and things like that for them. I believe that I truly thought he was just trying to either to assassinate Yasna or to capture Shallan, try to convince her to run away with him and then take her back to her older brother. Because I've learned, if Sanderson doesn't say that they are dead, that it's confirmed that they're dead, they're probably not dead. So I think that her eldest brother is still out there somewhere, and I think he's involved in all this. Anyway, that was my theory. So to find out now, especially, I realized it was an accident. He was probably trying to kill Yasna, and maybe he liked Shallan, but I knew it was more sinister than that. I mean, it's sad. It's sad, because Shallan did care about him, but she's a naive little girl. That's, her whole thing right now. Not little, but, she's she's intelligent, but she's pretty naive. Plus, also, Yasna is, I know that she's regarding her with cold rage, but it's also so clear that she's very hurt by this. Especially the way she says, like, you've thrown away a promising career, and then she says, I hate being wrong. I think that sentence she really cares about Shallan, genuinely. And I think this betrayal has done so much more than just, like, upset her, made her angry. Like, okay, chapter 51. Everyone says I gotta react to this one, so let's see. At least Kaladin knows he's fucking stupid for giving up the blade. Also, though, and I guess I didn't ask this before, why was a shard bearer here in the first place? This was just like a border skirmish. Why was he there? Like, what was the point? Am I going to find that out? Because I cannot imagine any reason why they would have needed someone that high power at an event like that. Like, clearly I don't think that's ever happened before. So why was he even there? Like, shouldn't he be on the plains? Like, also, I'm like not even, this is like a 4-page chapter and I'm still on page 2, but I keep having thoughts. Something I want to say about Kaladin is, like, I think one of his, like, fundamental character flaws, like, as a person, not like a flaw with his writing, but I think one of his flaws is certainly that he has a tendency to want things to be one way. And he says that, like, as a kid, right? He's like, I just want everything to make sense. And his mom laughs at him and says, you just want everything to make sense. Like, that's ridiculous. But Kaladin, like, it's very black and white to him. He's either, or it's extremes, I guess. Like, he's either a very determined general, like, captain to fight or determined to fight and to train the bridgemen and make them stronger, or he's the wretch who wants to kill himself and he can't do anything right. Like, he doesn't understand that you can have both things, that sometimes you need, like, that, yes, just because that shard blade killed your team, many of your team, like 20-something members of your team. However, that doesn't make it a net evil. Like, you can still touch it, and you can still use it, and you can wield it and make it, like, Amaram failed to protect my brother, but so did I. And, like, ambiguity seems to bother him a lot. Like, when two things that appear to be opposing are true at the same time, Kaladin struggles with that. And it bothers me as an individual, but, like, I like that that's one of his struggles, but that, I hope that he grows out of that as the series continues, like, as I keep reading, because that, if it weren't for the fact that he is obviously Stormblessed in one way or another, that would have killed him by now, I think. Ghostblood's mentioned. Ah! Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh. This is not good. Well, that's fucked up. I just finished part 3 of this godforsaken book, and it was amazing. So, let's talk about my thoughts and theories, because this is my favorite part. Okay, I have a ton of notes. I have my whiteboard. I am locked in. I don't have any more information about who made the assassination order for the king. I just don't. I don't have any more information about Shallan's dad's death, and I don't have any more information about her eldest brother, but I do have theories. I think her eldest brother is still alive because Sanderson said that he was believed to be dead, not that he was dead, so I'm sure that he just ran away. And I think he's a part of that organization that is now controlling, or now the Masters of Zeth, and are making him kill all the high princes and kings in Roshar, it seems. Like, no one is safe. Very scary. And I feel bad for him, because I know he doesn't want to be doing it, but he's truthless, so he has to do it, which sucks. Oh, speaking of Truthless of Shinovar, I have a theory that Shinovar is the center of the world, or the only piece of land that was maybe never It probably was impacted by the desolations, but the fact that it's the only place with normal vegetation, and it's like surrounded by the mist, is it the Mist Mountains, the Misty Mountains or something like that? I believe it is like the center of the earth. And that, because to me, I already thought that the Shattered Plains reminded me of ocean floor, or like tectonic plates, but like the ocean floor. And obviously there's crustacean type creatures and plants that act like sea anemones and other kinds of ocean fauna, flora and fauna. You also have eels in the sky. So I feel like everywhere else around Shinovar was at one point underwater. And now maybe the high storms are sent via the power of Stormlight, and that's why they're infused with Stormlight, to, without high storms, I think the rest of the world would die, maybe. I don't know. And the Parshendi, tell me the Parshendi don't kind of remind you of fish people. I don't know. I believe that the Parshendi either are of a hive mind, but maybe it's more that I just believe in their telepathy, perhaps. Maybe not hive mind, like they're all one personality, but just like some kind of, yeah. Or either it's a telepathy, a power of telepathy, or it's a strong connection to the cognitive realm. I think that that's probably it. I also think that the Voidbringers that are described in Yasna's notes, they're often described as having what looks like scorched skin, burnt skin of black and red. I think those are just Parshendi. I think that they were humans who had never seen Parshendi before. And I don't think they're evil. I don't think the Parshendi are evil. In fact, I've got a feeling that maybe the humans are the bad ones in this case. Another theory about the Parshendi, I think that the Parshendi know what the Chasm Fiends are and what they turn into. And that when they race to get the gem hearts, I don't think it's about money. Or about powering, like, any soul casting or anything like that. Because they don't soul cast. I believe they don't soul cast. Because in the accounts of when they're first meeting them, Dalinar and the king, I keep wanting to say Gavilar or Galavar, and I think it's Galavar, but I just, for some reason, it eludes me. But King G, King G's notes in his account of meeting them for the first time, he talks about the structures that the way he describes them, they're very obviously hand-built. They're not soul cast. That doesn't mean that they don't use soul casting ever, but maybe they don't at all. And don't the gem hearts have something to do with that? Maybe not. I don't know. But I think that they just seek to prevent the Chasm Fiends from pupating and from coming out of the chrysalis because they know that it could wreak havoc if they do. So I don't think it's about money for them. I don't think the race is about money. I think that they have a lot more knowledge about the world, and they're probably connected to this Urithuru place, which I believe is in the cognitive realm or can only be reached through the cognitive realm. What else? Are gem hearts weapons? I don't know. That goes back to my previous question. The Amian people, that might not come back up, but meeting Axius, I was reminded of Khandra and the way that he can change his biology. And I found that really interesting. Plus, he seems to have a really long lifespan, potentially. So that I'm intrigued by that, and I can't wait to see him again. Hopefully, I do get to see him again. Are Voidbringers Thunderclasts, or are Thunderclasts related to the Voidbringers, or are they related to the Parshendi? Not like related by blood, but you know what I mean. Like, are they in the same realm? That one missing Radiant, that did fall during that final battle or whatever in the prelude, I think he's going to come back, and he might have something to do with all this. Or maybe we've already met him. I don't know. I kind of doubt that, but maybe. I finally am starting to understand the shard bearer stuff. So you can have a shard blade, but that's not what makes you a shard bearer, right? Like, you are a shard bearer if you can wield Stormlight in the lashings and stuff, I think. And obviously Stormlight also heals you, because Kaladin seems to be a storm or a shard bearer. I'm getting tongue tied. Are humans the Voidbringers? That's the other question, but I think it's Parshendi. I think it is people who had never seen them before. And I also think that Parshmen are descendants of, it's like a whole other race that was born out of human Parshendi happenings. breeding. Whether that was intentional or not. And if that is the case, I do think it's probably not out of the Parshendi's choice. I just have a feeling that they're the good guys in one way or another. I really do. Okay, how Amaram, the whole reason that Kaladin was made a slave, that was screwed up. That was screwed up. I assumed he attacked Amaram, but at the same time I was like, no, I don't. He's got this reverence for him, or at least when he was in the past and talking about him, he had like a reverence for him because he felt like he was a good guy. And so I was like, no, I don't think, obviously the guy's still alive. And yeah, so it was not really Cal's fault, so that really sucks. What other notes do I have? Was Syl made from a Fabrial? The more that I learned about Sprin, I don't think so, but that was a question that I had. I also, her intelligence, is she a human spirit? I also don't think so. Because what about that Sprin that Axius saw? What about that Sprin that Axius saw with the changing faces? You want to say hi? No, obviously not. I'm excited to learn more about Sprin in general. And I also think that the Unmade, when the Unmade are referenced in Yasna's notes, it's only been once or twice at this point that she's mentioned them in her notes or had notes of them. I think that that's about Sprin. I think that so either Sprin are created out of the use of Fabrials or their spirits, cognitive shadows maybe. Maybe they're like manifestations of door, whatever the investiture liquid or whatever it is. Maybe they're that, like, obviously still has some, she's becoming more and more knowledgeable, and I don't think she's being completely honest with Cal as far as like the realizations that she's having, because she's also not appearing less, but she seems to be not as talkative lately. Especially after that very sweet and cute moment where she had her little sword, which also scared me a little bit, but she had her little sword and she was cutting away the Death Spren, that was awesome. I think that she's some kind of higher power and that she knows how important Kaladin is to fighting Odium when Odium appears, because Odium is either Odium is here or Odium is coming, and obviously that means something to Syl, and I would assume that means something to greater Spren in general, but because when he mentioned them to Syl, she literally hissed and went and hid. Also, Kaladin seeing Adolin interject with that situation with one of Shadis's guards and the sex worker, put some respect on her name, that also, I find that interesting. I think that meeting Adolin eventually is going to really change things for Cal. I talked a lot. If you go watch my last video where I kind of talk about Cal's character and how to the point that I made in that video, I think that meeting Adolin is going to really be a part of his journey to figure out that not everything is black and white and not all groups of people are just good or bad. And it's okay. It's important even to be both. But yeah, those are my thoughts on part 3. I can't wait to barrel through the rest of this. I'm very scared. Yeah. It's time. Chapter 65, The Tower. Okay. I can't breathe. I think Shadius is gonna die, and I really don't want that. I've started to really like him. I really don't want that. Teft better not die. I take it back. I hope he dies. Not Teft. Oh, holy night. I fell for it. So hard. Fuck. I need Kaladin to turn around right now. My husband is going to die. Is no one paying attention to the chrysalis? Did they get the gem heart out of it? Or is that thing gonna pop open? I'm so scared right now. I knew this whole time that it was coming. you know the whole book that he's dead. This sucks. What the hell? I'll bring you home. I'll protect you. I'll bring you back. What the hell? Well, at least he's gonna kill them all. Oh. 7-foot-tall Parshendi and gleaming silver shard plate. A barbed shard blade like flames frozen into metal. Huh. I love Kaladin just like promoting this soldier. And he's like, can you do that? And he's like, someone has to. Go. You got it, bud. Take control. I'm so scared. If something happens to Gallant, I'm fighting something, someone. That horse better fucking live. How does that Parshendi know who Dalinar is? How does that Parshendi know who Dalinar is? And what does Nashua Kadal mean? Y'all, it's I don't have theories for this. It's getting crazy. Well, it's been crazy. It's been freaking insane, but I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I love this part. I'm still scared. I like this. I like that the Parshendi Shardbearer saluted with his blade and that Dalinar responded the same way. I feel good about this. It's time to switch sides. Woo! Okay. They got out. They're going back to the camp. Chapter 69. This is another one that everyone was telling me to watch for, so I take some deep breaths. Although this chapter literally starts with Navani, and I think that this is gonna be emotional. So great. I hope Navani gives him the fucking business. Beat his ass, Navani. I love her. You know how I said that I felt like I really connected with Yasna? I might connect with Navani even more. In some ways. I don't know. I feel a connection to Yasna, but with Navani, there's something about, I don't know. I'll talk about it more later, but I love her. Hell yes. Burning. I know that you burn the prayers, but burning justice into the ground. Yeah. That's my girl. The blade? The blade? What is he doing to Elokar? Teaching him a lesson, I hope. I hope. Okay, part 5. Oh, is this a second Sanderlanche? I'm so... Is it a 2-parter? Damn it. Oh, interesting. Trying really hard not to be bitter and upset about the fact that this Shallan reveal was ruined for me by a post that I saw the other day. But it is crazy. I just wish I could be experiencing the shock right now. It is crazy, though. I would not have guessed that she'd done that. If Szeth is here to kill King Taravangian, I'm not okay with that. I love King Taravangian. I love him a lot. Damn it, literally 2 sentences later, says that that's why he's here. Damn it. I have been fooled. I think I have been fooled terribly. And I don't think I'm the only one. I was right. I was right. That is the best feeling. I figured it out. I was right about the Voidbringers. Fuck yeah. Ghostblood mentioned again. I'm gonna need to think about this. What would the Ghostbloods want? I have very limited understanding of them, okay? I don't know who started it, but I know that a good friend of mine is a leader, but is he the leader? Is he the founder? Probably not, right? So, what do they want with this? Well, sorry, I keep thinking about it because the Ghostbloods, they're like defenders of the Cosmere. That's like the whole thing, right? They're defenders of the Cosmere. So if they're, I don't know, whatever. We'll find out. Okay. I'm going to find out who the shard was, and then, so we know that Odium killed him. We're familiar with this. We're familiar with the fact that the shard bearers, I need a better word for that. The ones who hold the Audonalsium shards, we know that they can die. How screwed are we, team? How screwed are we, Rosharans? I mean, I'm from Scadrial, but how screwed are the Rosharans? Who is that? Who is that? That sounds like someone that I know. Is that someone that I know that just showed up? Is that someone that I know that just showed up? But why does he have a shard blade? Maybe it's not someone I know. Maybe he just reminds me of someone I know. Never mind, it's not someone I know, but it is someone that I know about. And did he just die? No, he didn't. Because in the prelude, they say that if the shard bearer dies, their blade disappears. So, but then it's different now. They say that if they die and then the blade is still sitting there, then they're dead. Why have the rules changed? And Taln, is that really him? And is he really dead? So he came back after the desolation and now he's just dead? What?